is the fourth I'm putting up video, because I'm not going to give background on it. I don't. Once I do, if you care to look back, you'll see the other three, and plus I've been putting the videos up since August the 3rd, 3 years ago. Will be 3 years ago, or maybe, well, 3 years ago, yeah. Now that I found out this morning that some of my videos couldn't be viewed, I have not lied about anything. I have told the truth. You can't even get it up on the videos. It's my life this mess has spanned, and I'm not going to say that again. What I'm going to say to get it on here is I wrote about mind control murders. I'd worked for doctors. 75 till April Fool's Day of 80, when I was almost killed. I should have died. Transported illegally across the state line to Huntsville, Alabama, and went to work, passed a background check in the condition I was in by Sheriff Patterson. Went to work for Fred Simpson, the district attorney in Huntsville, Madison County. Now then, it gets into future. I found out I was kidnapped when I was flown out after I was flown out at Flint's, but in '83. But Wallace Simpson married a double. That whole thing was a takedown of my father, and it's the illegal treaties and my kidnapping. I was born in '39 and kidnapped in '41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. I still can't use my name, real name Margaret Ann Windsor. And this was a double. My father married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. This whole thing, she's an American sister to George O'Keefe. So that I was writing about mind control murders and programming being done in patterns. And Larry Flint was shot during that time. I was living in Moonraker Apartments, and he was shot in Lawrenceville. And the doctor, one of the doctors I wrote about, had to be part of trying to kill me, April Fool's Day of 80. Anyway, the plane he was on, August the 31st of 83, was shot down by the Russians when it veered off course into their airspace. And this is what I'm trying to tell, too, with mind control. It's simple. They can mass armies now under mind control. It's advanced so much, and you can go back to MK Ultra back in 1953 that was called before Congress for this very thing, and a slap on the wrist, so you can imagine how advanced it is. But the Virginia Tech, I ended up here, and Mr. Flint ended up just prior to me being here. He showed me the galley proofs of the parody he was going to publish in Hustler about Jerry Falwell, Reverend Falwell of Liberty University here. And I couldn't understand why he did. Now I know why. He ended up here in federal court when Jerry Falwell sued him, and it ended up before the Supreme Court, freedom of speech. But Mr. Flint, I think I was living, I'm not sure, I think I was living up on the Appalachian Trail then, and it was odd that he would go to all this trouble to help me, write me up, and he helped me in the campaign, and leased a car for me for a year, and then I was back couldn't get a job, I was shut down, a place to live, nothing in the condition I was in. But anyway, before this goes off again, I found out my videos, one of them that couldn't be viewed was a video on Ennis Cosby. Okay, Mr. Flint's probation officer is almost so sick you can't say it. You tell the truth and the law goes after you. Mr. Flint's probation officer here was a black probation officer, Mr. Ennis. So now then, when I get locked up by the agriculture department, the rangers up there, for, quote, living in the national forest, see, they leave out all the things, why and all this, it would leave me on the side of the road, which is where I was when I went up there and froze and starved. And, hey, somebody had bothered to help me with rent or something, I wouldn't have been up there, or with food, which they didn't do. Anyway, Mr. Flint's probation officer was Ennis. I ended up the first time in court, and I'll try to make this quick to get the connections. The judge made me pay a $15 fine. It was paid, and he ordered Mr. Ennis, a probation officer, to find me a place to live. Well, that was a joke. I went into the federal building with him while I was there, and I'm such a low-life character according to background checks. Oh, wow, I can't even use my real name. It's a lie. All of it is a frame. But anyway, I couldn't find a place to live. So, Mr. Ennis, I was out on the side of the road, and you know where I ended up walking to Whistle, trying to find a place to live in the hot, hot sun. Ended up in, it was cold up there, a ticket bought for me to Canada, and then I was turned around, and it's a horror story, all of it. So I'm going to get to this. The Ennis part is Ennis Cosby was on the side of the road. Something happened to his car, and a young man from Russia shot him. Now, that I just saw when I Googled and found out this was one of them, mine that can't be shown, I thought, why on earth can't that be shown? Well, the young man that's in prison, there's something that it was even printed, it says when I Googled it by National Enquirer, that Bill Cosby had his own son killed. I happen to know that that was a mind control murder. The young man that shot Ennis Cosby was under mind control to do it. And I'm going to say this, the black probation officer came about in my life again not long after all that happened, a few years later, and they actually paid at that time for me to stay in a motel down in for I don't know, a week and a half. It was cold, and it's the only time that the federal people that I know of have ever done helped me, and like that, it's the other way around. But you know, I don't know if Bill Cosby himself, because mind control has been going on for a long time. You just can't prove most of it. But I've wondered about the rapes. I'm not for rape, for God's sake. There's suits filed in Atlanta and got a seal on them where a doctor raped, and I was told by him he killed a young girl, more than one, but this one named Cindy. So anyway, there's a seal on that. But I've wondered about Cosby. I think he did it. I mean, these women didn't just make it up, all of them, I don't think. But I wondered, because of the Ennis, his son being killed, and I know he was programmed, I wondered how much Bill Cosby, if he was programmed. And you have to wonder about the NAACP, and I know the answer, and I'm not going to get in. I can't on this tape tell it, but I have on tapes a year or so ago, a connection there to Andrew Young and all this stuff. Why they don't tell the truth, because Simpson, O.J., I'm just going to show this as Wallace Simpson. I'm not going to explain on here. O.J. Simpson was a mind control. In his cousin who worked for the police department out there tried to tell people that he imagined it or dreamed it. Well, this is mind control being programmed, but they've done certain murders in a pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and say one that's here. He's a black man, Jesse Matthews, Charlottesville, Virginia. And the young lady, and it hurts, I'm British, I'm English, the people who have stood behind and tried to help me in this hell, and my German family. She was murdered, Hannah Graham. And there's another one I'm not going to mention here. But then there's Alexis Murphy. And there's a man in prison for her murder, and I know beyond a doubt these can be proven totally. The Alexis Murphy and Hannah Graham and the other one that he killed, he was programmed to do it, Jesse Matthews. But I'm going back to this one. The video's going off, and I'm not going to make another one. Since I looked it up, why was this video about Ennis Cosby not able to be viewed? And I looked back and I saw where Bill Cosby